Hi boys and girls, welcome back to YouTube today. Today we're going to go over our morning message and our calendar, and then we're going to work in math on talking about halves and making shapes have half of a line through the middle. So let's get started. Good morning first graders. Today is Thursday, May 28th, 2020. Happy birthday, Elias. Have a great day, friend. You will practice halves in math. Have a terrific Thursday. Love, Mrs. Rochat. Yesterday was Wednesday, today is Thursday, and tomorrow will be Friday. The weatherman says that it's going to be pretty warm today. A little sun and partly cloudy, so I hope you get to go outside and enjoy the weather today. A penny is one, a nickel is 5, a dime is 10, and a quarter's 25. Now, we're going to talk about halves. Can you say that? Halves. That's a longer word, and it also means half. So when we cut something in half, it's equal on both sides. Do you remember that cookie that we talked about last week? And how if we cut it in half, we want to make sure that each side is equal so that it's the same. So you can do that with shapes. If you look at the circle, which is kind of the shape of a cookie, if I cut it in half, both sides of the line are the same size. So now I know that I've cut it in half. In a rectangle, we can cut it in half the same way. We can cut it with a line right down the middle. So both sides of that line are equal. And half means that there are two equal sides. In this square, I could even do my line going horizontal instead of vertical. And I still have two sides, two equal sides or two halves. In shapes today in math, that's what we're going to do. We're going to learn how to make those shapes cut in half so they're equal on both sides. Let's get started, boys and girls. All right, boys and girls, on your piece of paper for lesson 9, talking about halves, on page 687, I want you to draw a rectangle, a circle, and a square like you see on my paper. And I want you to practice counting it in, or cutting it in half. Your line is going to be horizontal through the rectangle, vertical through the square, and diagonal in the circle. Now, if you look at all these shapes, you can see that each side of the line that's written through the shape is equal. Both sides have the same amount. Go ahead and take your pencil and copy what I have on my paper and do that for yours. Okay, so looking at that circle and rectangle on the right that is yellow and orange, it says that a whole that is separated into two equal parts is separated into halves. A whole shape cut and separated with a line makes two equal parts. So each part is a half of a whole. Two equal parts or two halves. Go ahead and take your pencil and trace over the two equal parts or the two halves on your line. Then let's look at problem 1 and 2. It wants us to write how many equal parts make up the whole. If you remember from what I just read to you above, it told us there were two equal parts or two halves. So for problem 1, you'll write 2 on the line, and same thing for problem 2. For problems 3 and 4, I want you to draw lines to show two equal parts and write how many halves they have. So for problem 3, you see the rectangle. You can choose to draw a vertical line going up and down or a horizontal line going left to right through the rectangle. So go ahead and choose whichever one you want, but you should have two halves. Then do the same thing for the circle. Okay, it's your turn to practice. So for problems 5 and 6, they already drew the lines for you. Write how many equal parts make up the whole. So to make a whole shape, how many half of the shapes do you need? If you need to, you can write the numbers in each shape to help you see the total. Go ahead and do that now. For problems 7 through 10, it says a half of each shape is missing, and you need to draw the missing half. I did problem 7 for you. Do you see how I drew the same exact size of a square next to it to make a rectangle? So now there are two halves. For problems 8, 9, and 10, it wants you to draw the same exact shape connected to it so that each side has equal parts. So for 8, you'll draw half of a moon underneath, 9, draw a rectangle underneath, and 10, a rectangle to the side. For problems 11 and 12, color half of each shape. Write how many parts are shaded. Now you can shade in with your pencil. You don't need a color. I used red so you can really see how I shaded the square. I shaded one of the two parts. So I put the number 1 of, and then on the next line you'll write 2. Go ahead and shade in for problem 12, one of the two parts. For this page, I just want you to skip it. Yay, round of applause. So put a big X right through your paper because we're going to learn fourths next. Okay, so we're going to move on with fourths or quarters and fourths. So all that means, boys and girls, is that instead of just drawing one line, we draw two, and it makes 4 equal parts instead of 2 equal parts. So see the rectangle and the circle on your paper? I want you to draw one vertical line going up and down and one horizontal line going left to right, and make sure that when you draw those lines that you have 4 equal parts. If you're looking at the screen, you can see that my shapes have 4 equal parts. I want your paper to look just like mine. Go ahead and take your pencil, draw your lines to make fourths. So a whole shape that is separated into 4 equal parts is separated into fourths or quarters. Each part is a fourth of or a quarter of the whole. So you can see that the line says 4 equal parts, 4 fourths, or 4 quarters. It all means the same thing. All it means is that there are 4 equal parts through the whole shape. Now, go ahead and take your pencil and trace over that. For problems 1 and 2, it wants you to write how many equal parts make up the whole. And if you look at those shapes, you can see 4 equal parts for 1 and 2. So write 4 on the line. 3 and 4, draw lines to show 4 equal parts. Write how many fourths. So in the rectangle and the square, you need to draw one horizontal line and one vertical line to make 4 equal parts. If you want to in the square, you could draw 2 diagonal lines. Just make sure that whatever lines you draw, there are equal parts on each side of the line. Okay, it's independent practice time, so you'll do these on your own. For problems 5 and 6, a quarter of each shape is missing. Draw the missing quarter. So just like we've done before, you just need to add one more equal part to make the shape a whole. So for problem 5, you need to make that into a rectangle by drawing another equal part. And for 6, you need to make that into a closed circle with another equal part. Problem 7 and 8. Color a fourth of each shape and write how many parts are shaded. For problem 7, I got it started for you. I shaded in 1 of 4 equal parts. So I shaded in with the red, and then I put the number 1, and you should put 1 of 4 parts. Do the same thing for problem 8. For problems 9 and 10, color 1 equal part and fill in the numbers on the lines. 1 of 4 parts. For both problems 9 and 10, the line should say 1 of 4 parts because there are 4 equal parts and you shaded in 1 with your pencil. Problem 11. Heidi has a cookie. She and 3 friends want to share the cookie. How many equal parts does Heidi need? If you think about it, 3 friends plus Heidi makes 4 people. So you need to cut the cookie in 4 equal parts. Problem 12. Adrian draws a line on a rectangle to show equal parts. She then draws another line to show more equal parts. Describe what happens to the sizes of the parts when she cuts them in half. Think about equal parts. Awesome job working with your shapes throughout this week and learning how to cut them in halves and fours, talking about our vertices. Remember, our vertices are our corners and our sides, and just learning all about shapes. I'm so proud of you, boys and girls. Keep up the good work. Remember, this week is the last week of math and reading activities. Next week, June 1st through the 3rd, is our last week of school, and that is a May due week. So you'll have that matrix sent to you where you can do lots of fun activities with your family, and there'll still be YouTube videos of me sharing those things with you. You have a great Thursday, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye, friend.